The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me, big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. Sorry, you guys, we started a minute late. That was my fault. We were talking to our guest, and we didn't realize that it was already 12 o'clock. So what's up, everybody? Before we get started, let me introduce my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Ron Russell.
And Astro.
Yay, Astro. And chat room, what's up? We got people in the chat room. Hey, Boomer, how you doing? Don Hinton's in the chat room. Cindy Lady Lake's in the chat room. Hub Reynolds is in the chat room.
Yeah.
We got a good show for you guys today. Our first guest is Lee Purcell, and she's an actress who's been in a bunch of cool things. And then we have Charlie Z from DRMAGDN, who is DRMAGDN. Charlie Z is DRMAGDN, and Ron and I met him also at the 911 benefit charity concert. He was the headliner at the charity concert for Soho Johnny's thing back in 2000. I don't know, 2 years ago, I think, for the September 11th thing.
I was 23 years old, so how many years ago?
Yeah.
I was 23.
So all is good. And I want to tell everybody, if Tears for Fears comes to your town, last night, Ron's two daughters, Leslie, Deirdre, and I, who are my stepdaughters, we went and saw the Cold War Kids and Tears for Fears. And Tears for Fears was it was so great, it wasn't even funny. We had a blast. The whole arena was sold out, and we had a really, really good time. And I didn't even remember all the hits that Tears for Fears had. You know, I remembered like 4 of them, but they actually have way more than that. So it was really cool, and we had a great time. So if Tears for Fears comes to your town, definitely you want to go see them.
The reason I didn't go is I don't like standing for hours. I don't like the crowds. I don't like the sound system. I prefer to hear them on my recorded. You know, they sound better. They're live. You know, I'm in the business. It doesn't excite me. But I can understand people who are not in show business who get a thrill at seeing these people live on the stage.
So for me,
it's no big deal.
It was one of the.
And if I'm not invited into the green room, I wouldn't go anyway.
It's one of the most iconic bands, I think, of the 80s, and the fact that everybody's getting older and these people aren't going to be going on tour forever, so it's nice to go see them all because they were really, really
Say
good.
hello to Astro.
Say hi to Astro.
Say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Astro speaking.
Yay! That's so cute. All right, so what's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a good time.
And the heat. It's hot all over the country.
We were like 121 degrees, I think.
You know, only New York is beautiful, 82 degrees. How perfect is that? Astro, you want to get down, honey? You want to sit on me the whole show? What are you going to do, sweetheart?
Hopefully you guys in the chat room can see here and see the chat and everything.
Yes.
I'm hoping that you guys got it. Okay, so it's 12:08. What do you want to talk about? What did we do this weekend? We didn't do anything.
I want to talk about the strike. We are getting somewhere. Fran Drescher is tough. I mean, the little nanny has a mouth. Well, she's a New Yorker from Flushing and Bayside, one town away from where I came from. So Fran and I know her, and we're equal. You know, we're New Yorkers. We tell it like it is. It's about time. And Fran is getting somewhere, and she's really making it happen, and I adore her. I may make a movie with her. She may play my wife. We're working on it.
Okay, hang on.
I can't talk about it, but we're working on it. What are you doing, typewriting?
Yeah, I'm typing because they're having a problem. I'm working on it, you guys. Hey, you guys, I just sent one. It says the video is playing on Facebook, but it's not playing on YouTube.
Oh.
So I'm letting him know. Hang on, you guys.
And they want more, and they don't want to give us money. Does YouTube include it in that Netflix thing?
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. For us
Well, I
to talk
guess so,
about it.
because they do play old movies on YouTube, right?
Yes.
We don't get paid for any of our movies that were up.
That's good. No, we don't stream. We would get paid for the show on YouTube, except for that you have to get millions and millions of people to watch it, and people don't watch our show; they listen to mostly. Most of our millions of players are listening to our show.
We got to
not
tell
watching.
people, don't listen, watch our show. Our show is visual as much as it is hearing. It's fun to listen to if you're in a car, but if you're home, tune in. We're on a cell phone. We're on everything. No matter what device you have, tune into our show. We're there, and you'll see us. Because, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And like me looking at Jimmy with such adoration, like this, watch.
Okay, so now they're watching us on Facebook.
See, the radio people don't know what it looked like, but the TV people know. Watch, I'll do it again.
Let's see.
He ignores me. See?
No, I'm trying to work this out so people can see us, honey.
Work nothing.
Talk. I mean, usually talk when we get started. So talk about
I'm
something.
tired of talking, Jim. And then you yell at me. You say, you never let me talk on
No,
the
not
show.
when I'm like having stuff
And
to
then I
do.
let you talk, and then you put people to sleep, or you just don't know what you're talking about, or whatever. So I have to jump in and say,
no.
what is that?
I'm trying to get it, but I can't throw it in here. You guys go on Facebook to watch
What about
the
our
chat.
engineer? Let our engineer do it.
Go on chat. He said he did it. I just don't
Jose,
see
do it. Jose.
Juan.
Jose, same thing.
Okay, he said he put it
It's
in
a
the
Jewish
comments.
name.
Okay.
It's a Jewish name.
Okay, there it is. It's in there. All right.
Can you see
I
us
wonder if
now?
I can go there then too and see it.
Can you
Let's
see me, Mama, Papa, can you see? Remember Barbara Streisand? She sang that beautiful song, Papa, Can You See Me? My father had just passed away, and that was the first movie that I'd gone to since he passed away. And when she began to sing Papa, Can You See Me, it was a very emotional moment for me. It was only a moment, but it was emotional.
I can't log in though to
Jim,
YouTube
what's going
there.
on?
Huh? Just talk for a minute.
Talk. You want me to sing and dance?
No.
I mean, come on.
I can't log into Facebook to be able to chat with people. I'm trying to make it so I can chat. So just talk. I mean, they're all in a different window than I am, and I'm trying to work it
Why
out.
do these things happen?
It's a YouTube thing.
A YouTube thing. YouTube, get it right. You have enough of our shows. You have thousands of our shows on your network that people watch and that we don't get paid for.
I'm going to go on it through my phone, but I can't get on it from here. So, B. Claudia, thanks, B. B's going to send me the link so I can see what's going on. And I'll go and switch to the
Why
other
can't
chat.
Jose fix it?
One, because it's not.
One.
Because it's a YouTube problem, not a one problem.
Well, whatever you're supposed to fix, why doesn't he fix?
I'm not fixing it. I want to join it.
Join what?
Okay, never mind. Just he's got a link and he's sending it for Facebook, so I can go on Facebook and communicate with people. Otherwise,
See,
I can't
people
talk
think
to
that
them.
I'm the
There we go.
bitchy evil one
No,
because
because you don't
I
understand
yell at him
things.
and I threaten to punch him
Go to
through a
side.
wall.
All right.
But I'm not.
All
the
right, here we
evil one.
are.
I'm the nice guy.
Let's see now. Here we go. All right. I'm here. All right. All
He's the
right.
bad.
Because everybody's here. All
He's
right,
the bad
everybody.
guy.
We're on Facebook Live now. Instead, you guys, Hub's here, Cindy's here, and I'm here. So perfect. All right. All right, you guys. So we're gonna have a great show for you guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Our first guest is gonna be coming back in like 2 minutes. In the meantime, let's do a quick commercial. You can hear the show, you guys, every week on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime. Those are all the main places that you can watch the show and listen to see the show afterwards, you guys. But we're on like 160 more platforms after that. So we're on about 180 platforms total.
We're seen all over the world.
Yes. Hello.
It's
Okay.
no big deal, by the way. Most people would say, oh, wow, could you imagine the whole world sees you? No. You know why? We don't know it. We don't know that they see us. We have no idea who they are. It's not like when you do a show on a stage, like I did for years. I worked the stage, as you know. I love the boards, are the best. Because the audience is there and you see the audience and you know who you're playing to. But when you're on a show with 5 million people, you've not a clue who they are, what they are, where they are. So it doesn't mean anything. I just think like I'm talking into a camera. No big deal.
So what we're going to do real quick, we're going to play the trailer for Purgatorium, and when we come back, our guest will be here.
Purgatorium
is on
the Jimmy
Tubi,
Star
guys.
production.
It's a non-union film, and it's on Tubi TV right now, streaming for free, so check out the trailer for it because it's my film. Thank you. Bye.
So what is this double?
I'm stuck in here.
Who put you up to this?
No one did, sir.
I gave it to you in writing, Bart. In black and white.
I really don't want to hurt you, man.
Then don't. Evil is with us. A wise man once said, life is like a stream. If you're doing and not doing, it does not stop.
Stay up there!
The funny thing about streams, though, once it's off course, you can never change it back.
All right, everybody. So that's Purgatorium. It's on Tubi TV, and you can watch it.
I watched it. It's a good film, and not because Jimmy produced it, because it was
Psychological thriller.
Yeah, but if it was a lousy film, I would simply say, watch it with nothing further. But I would have liked to have been in it. I could have played the old guy.
Oh, easy.
Easily, violent, big mouth, yelling, screaming. That's my thing. But Jimmy did a good production on this film, and he's producing a lot more, of which we cannot talk about because we are on strike. Right, Jim?
Right.
I would be out there with a thing, a protesting sign.
All right, so...
Oh, wait a minute. My heart doctor said, Ron, no. You've had open heart surgery. We don't want you out in the heat, screaming and yelling. I said, okay.
Okay, so let's go. We're going to bring on our first guest, everybody. I couldn't see that she was in there, but now I know she's there. So let's bring her in. Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're fantastic. All right, everybody. Now we
Waiting
want to
for you. That's what we're doing.
That was my fault because I couldn't see if she was there or not. Hey, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, two-time primetime Emmy nominee, Lee Purcell. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on, and I loved that trailer.
Oh, thank you. It's fun. It's
It's our pleasure. You don't have to thank us for being on. We thank you for being on. And I want to thank my old buddy, the very handsome, sexy Harlan Boyle.
Oh,
I call him Boyle. I've been calling him Boyle. Even Tippi Hedren called him Boyle.
Oh my God! It is bowl like a cotton bowl.
Like a cotton bowl.
But I think a lot of people.
I know him for about 30 years. When I first met him, oh my God, I thought he was the handsomest, sexiest man I'd ever seen.
He is, actually.
His wonderful beard, and I think I had a quick crush on him for a minute.
So hold on, let's introduce. So first of all, this is my co-host, Ron Russell. Since she'd never met us, and we're officially meeting now, even though we talked earlier.
And we're the first gay married couple to have a TV show that is so successful that we're the number one streaming web show in the world. And we were Emmy nominated, and we have a lot of other stuff. So we're happy about that we are permitted to be who we are.
Yay! So we have a chat room filled with people. The chat room is a little bit split up. So just say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everybody.
And also I want to let everybody know if you want to follow Lee, she is on social media. You can follow her on Instagram under The Lee Purcell. And she's got a website, and it's leepurcell.com. And make sure you spell Purcell right. It's Purcell. Like you see on the screen if you're watching.
Right. Now, I'm going to discuss something with her and a reason why. We are not permitted to mention any of the movies that she's in. And I will have Lee tell tell you guys out there why. I don't want you to think that her movies stink and that's why we didn't mention it. No, otherwise they're going to, because I always say.
No, a couple do, actually. But.
I always say, if the movie's not good, I don't badmouth it. I just don't mention it. So I don't want them to think.
That's the polite.
Because you were in some great films, my dear, with some big movie stars.
Which we can talk about the movie stars.
No, but some of them I know, so we're allowed to talk about.
We can talk about people. We just can't.
Socially.
So here's the thing, is that our union, SAG-AFTRA, is on strike. And so there are certain things that we are prohibited from doing. One of them is working in a project. Working in a project that is AMPTP, well, that's the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers. If it's affiliated with that, there are interim agreements that can happen. It's all very complex, boring stuff. But just so you understand why I can't talk about certain films or TV shows, whatever, that I've done. Because another thing we're prohibited from doing is promoting film and TV shows, no matter how old, no matter whatever. We can't do it because it drives money into the pockets of the people we are negotiating against or with. And so we can't do that. But we can talk about the people who were in those shows. We can talk about life. We can talk about
hair.
Like we were talking, yes, before I came on officially, we were talking about hair. And
I love her strawberry blonde hair, that it did such good work for her face and the color. And that last week we had that beautiful girl on who we were seeing at a birthday party Saturday, and she had this mousy brown hair, and I hated it. And then I didn't say anything. Then she shows us a video of a movie she's in with red hair. Oh my God, you have to be a redhead. But
that's the right color.
She hit it beautifully. The color goes with your eyes, your lipstick, your skin. Perfect. If you come in my salon, I would have suggested this lovely strawberry blonde. It used to be called Sunbeam.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not. Sunbeam. That's interesting.
Sunbeam. Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do real quick, I want to brag for 2 minutes. I'm just going to start it with mentioning some of the people you've worked with. And then we're going to, from there, I want to segue into the Hollywood Radio Players, because that's something I know we're allowed to talk about.
We are, because I produce it, and I'm not the MPC.
You're not part of it. So
we're on radio right now.
So you guys, just to get an idea, because this is radio and television. So just to get an idea, some of the cool people that she's actually worked with.
I'll raise my hand if I work with them or know them.
So these are people that Lee Purcell has co-starred opposite John Voight, Nicolas Cage, Orson Welles, Charles Bronson, James Garner, Michael and Kirk Douglas, Bo and Lloyd Bridges, and she's also starred opposite Mark Harmon, Malcolm McDowell, who's been on the show, Jan Michael Vincent, Louis Gossett Jr., Chadwick Boseman, Gene Wilder, Robert Young, Richard Thomas, Paul Sorvino, he's been on the show, Barry Bostwick, Jack Lord, Tom Selleck, and R.J. Mitt, which I just worked on a movie with him.
I know.
So yay! So that's just some, because I was looking at all the different things. You also did a film in the 80s that we're not going to mention, but the star of the film was Deborah Foreman, and she's a very good friend of ours. She's been on the show 5 times.
Right.
And love her.
Daddy.
For all you guys, Nicolas Cage is also in that film, so you probably know what it is. Has a great soundtrack. And it's a lot of fun. So you've worked with great people, and we're going to talk about it. But first, let's talk a little bit tell us what the Hollywood Radio Players Club is. Hollywood Radio Players. I guess it's not club.
It's not club.
But that sounded good.
I just made that up.
That is kind of funny, though. There's a funny story about that somebody, when we first started posting the shows, there was a glitch, and somebody put club on the end, which we don't have. Right. But anyway, it's called HollywoodRadioPlayers.com. So HollywoodRadioPlayers.com. Or if you go to YouTube, it's just Hollywood Radio Players. So I produce it with my wonderful producing partner, Michael Carnegie, who is a genius. And what we do is we recreate classic radio plays with today's actors and we do it so you can see us. We call it radio you can see.
Right.
And we do special effects and sound effects and costumes and all kinds of things. It's very complex. It's very elaborate. And we've come a long way because we've been doing this for about a year, and we just posted a couple of weeks ago our 10th show, which is episode 1 of season 2. And it's the Bickersons. And probably a lot of people won't know who the Bickersons were because that was in the 1940s. But the Bickersons were a very, very popular hit show for about 20 years on and off. They came and went. And it was Donna Michi and Frances Langford, who was a big band singer and very popular. And they played a married couple who bickered. Hence the Bickersons.
I know the show.
Okay.
But also Lucille Ball did it with, I forgot who. They kind of copied that show. Before she did I Love Lucy, my favorite wife was the show.
Husband. She did My Favorite Husband, which was a precursor to I Love Lucy, but it was not the Bickersons. The Bickersons was always just these two people. And it was very interesting that they did that because they started in radio and they went all the way into the 60s doing the Bickerson skits on very popular variety shows and the big variety shows that they used to have. And so we did, that's our most recent show. We did War of the Worlds, which I directed Bickerson's and also War of the Worlds and something else. So we take turns.
Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Orson Welles is what we did the original script from 1938, October 31st, 1938.
Sure.
And it was quite challenging to do that on visual radio because it's easier to do it, as you guys know, if you're just hearing it. But when it's visual, then you have to really dress it up, and you got to do more. So
scratch your nose.
We actually have one that we have a bunch of modern people in. It's called Dead Exit. It hasn't come out yet, but it's only radio. But it's like radio set from the old time. It'll have all the special.
It was fun doing it.
It's like a dystopian, like thriller, set way in the future, and it's called Dead Exit. And we all recorded it.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, we're allowed.
Isn't it going visual?
No, it's not going. We might actually do visual if it does well as audio.
I want to talk about years ago. Lee, I'm a lot older than you are. I'm 83 years old. You probably weren't even born yet. But there was a show called Inner Sanctum that terrified me as a young boy. Why? My sister and I
talk about shows.
This is Inner Sanctum. You can't find it. It's 100 years ago.
Well, it was radio, right?
Yes.
Oh, if it's radio, it's okay.
It was 1945. There was no such thing as television.
Talk about it all day long. I'm going to take notes here because we're always looking for new shows.
I remember telling my sister, who was 7 years older than I, to hug me because I was so frightened. And to show with a squeaking door. Welcome to the Inner Sanctum. And the stories, and my God, terrifying. You know why? I was creating it. I was the producer. I saw the set. I saw the actors. I saw the horror. I saw the fear. I saw the darkness. Terrifying. Radio is absolutely wonderful, and I think what you're doing is terrific. Jimmy and I are driving to New York because we're moving back to the East Coast next spring. I intend to listen to your show the whole trip because I can't watch, I'm driving, but how wonderful is it going to be to hear your show and your movies that I know?
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. You can watch them today, whenever, on YouTube.
So I also wrote down some of the ones. So you said War of the Worlds. I wrote down The Hitchhiker, The Life of Riley, Armis Brooks, Father Knows Best, Beauty and the Beast, Gunsmoke, Dragnet, The Bad Man, The Bickersons, and then future productions of Casablanca, Art and Our Town, and The Maltese Falcon.
Yes, all of that. And also we should mention that we do these shows to benefit the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which is the industry charity that benefits people in need in the motion picture and television industry, which, of course, throughout the pandemic, there was a lot of need. And so they really got stretched very thin. And then now, since we have 2 strikes going on, once again, they're getting stretched very thin. So, but you can watch the shows for free. If you choose to donate, if you can donate, any amount at all to the Motion Picture and Television Fund. There's a link there. And the host, we have 2 wonderful hosts. We have Tom Bergeron and we have Lisa Gibbons.
Tom Bergeron,
like funniest videos, right?
Dancing with the Stars.
Stars, there you go.
Hollywood Squares, double Emmy winner.
Yeah.
And then Lisa was on Entertainment Tonight for many, many years. And they're both fabulous. So during the introduction, which, sorry, let me get some water.
Drink some water. Yeah, good.
Sorry.
Am I allowed to say this? Stop me immediately if I'm not. When you played Olivia de Havilland.
I did play Olivia de Havilland.
And you did play her.
I can't say in what.
No, we're not saying what.
I'm going to go around it now. When you played Olivia de Havilland, did you study Olivia or did you give your interpretation of Olivia?
I studied her intensely.
Because the performance was excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, she was Betty Davis' friend. And I knew Betty Davis well. Betty Davis never said a harsh word about Olivia de Havilland. She loved her. She
was
called
wonderful.
Was her nickname.
You know what? I'm going to just turn off my picture for a minute. I can still talk because I'm going to I have allergies and the heat's making them heat up. So I'm just going to take a little cough medicine. Truly, it is cough medicine. And
you're mysterious. You're the lady in the dark.
Now nobody knows what Lee Purcell looks like.
Yeah, I just don't want anybody to see me swigging cough medicine. It's really
funny. No, that's all fine. How hot is it? Are you in LA? How hot is it?
Right now, I don't know the temperature right now. It's probably 90s, but it's a weird. It's a very strange heat.
Yeah,
we're in Palm Springs.
We have humidity.
It was 117 yesterday.
117.
Oh, where are you?
Palm Springs.
Oh, you're in. Oh, well. You're crazy.
Why do you think we're moving to East Hampton?
I'll tell you. I know. My nephew and his partner, they have a place in Palm Springs, and you just can't go there at certain times unless you're willing to, pay $1 million a month for air conditioning. And
yes, we have solar, so we're lucky.
Solar, so
smart. They're young. They don't have solar yet.
I'm originally from New York, Brooklyn, and now I'm homesick, and I'm 83, and it's time to go home. So we're buying a place in East Hampton, which is about 2 minutes from the ocean.
Oh, nice.
Cool ocean breeze.
Can I come visit? Oh, my God.
Yes, last week I talked about the sand going up my nose. Very fine. That's why my voice is gravel. In Vegas, they say sand voice. Joan Rivers, who I knew, used to complain about that. She'd say, I don't breathe. I get out of the limo. I run into the casino. Because if that dust gets in my nose, she said, I'm gravelly and coughing all night.
I totally understand. That's what I'm with. It's great having the flowers and the plants, but boy, I have allergies and they kick in, and it's not fun. It's really not fun. But Olivia, just to reiterate on that,
right?
She, I was very fortunate because she had approval of who would play her in this project we can't name.
Right. But you know who it is.
Yeah. And she approved me. And it was I'm
interrupting you for a reason. Did you ever meet Betty Davis?
No.
Did you ever meet Joan Crawford?
No.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
No, they're really a little bit earlier.
Because I can say why it's interesting.
Okay.
Betty Davis, Joan Crawford. Oh, where have you been?
No, I got it. Okay. So wait, let me go back 2 seconds. You guys, with the
I wish I had, but we're both incredible.
With the Hollywood Radio Players, you guys, you can go to HollywoodRadioPlayers.com. You can also go on YouTube and find it. And the first two you want to watch are the ones that Lee actually produced, War of the Worlds and what was the other one?
I have to ask her a question.
Hang on, wait. What was the other?
Actually, I produced them all.
Did you some of them?
And but I think you were thinking of directing. I directed a few of them. We take turns directing. And I directed War of the Worlds and the Bickersons and I think Father Father Knows Best. I directed Father.
I do and watch. It's very cool.
I'm in a bunch of them. I'm in a bunch of them. Sometimes I have a little tiny one-liner, sometimes, a big role, because we alternate.
Right. That's fun.
Is it like a table reading when we see it?
No. Oh, God, no.
How do you do it?
We rehearse. We have a lot of rehearsal.
If we're seeing it, we're seeing a radio show. How are we doing it?
On Zoom.
No,
You see it.
I
You see it.
No, I mean, when I open up the TV, what do I see?
You see, it's a show. It's radio you can see instead of just here, and it's on Zoom, and you see the full show.
But wait a minute.
You see the people reading it.
Are you in costume? Do you have sets?
We're in costumes. No, you can't have a set, but on Zoom. But we have props. We have sound effects. We have a lot of special effects. There's a lot of, if it's snowing, you see snow. I mean, that sort of thing. And everybody's in costume. We have a fabulous costumer who's just joined us on the Bickersons season 2, and Sean LeBlanc, who is a very major costumer, and he's now doing all of our costumes. We did our costumes for the first season, and we did okay, but it's nothing like having, a real guy.
So what it is it's theater on radio.
You could say that. You could definitely say that for sure.
I would say that because that's exactly what it sounds like. It's like going to Broadway and seeing it on radio rather than on television.
Yeah, except for it's in Zoom, so we're in all the little boxes.
Right.
But when you watch it, you forget about that. You forget, and even I forget when I'm seeing it. I just see and hear the story, and I see and hear the actors, and the actors are great, really, really good, and everybody is very versatile.
We're doing it right now. We're a radio TV show, and this is what
we just don't have special effects.
We're doing it right now. Now, if I went and got dressed up and looked exactly like Rock Hudson's twin brother, then Tony Curtis, then the show would really be a hit.
No, I like it. It's fabulous.
So that's something to keep in mind.
What's that?
Oh.
You could do that. You could dress up like Rock Hudson.
Rock Hudson and play Rock English. I knew Rock Hudson, and he was the little that I knew about him was he was shy and very, very not enjoying the everybody is so gorgeous. He didn't quite understand that from what I gathered. I knew his lover better.
Oh.
Actually, I knew George Nader very well, who was George Nader and I dated when I was young. So I knew him because of Rock Hudson. And Rock was very, very shy. And not that I mean, he was gorgeous in person. When I saw him, I dropped dead. 6'4", a voice. I mean, he was breathtaking.
He was breathtaking.
And just such a regular guy. Like, he was like nobody. Like, if you told him your hands and he'd go, and he'd walk away.
So you did a very cool, kind of like a kids-themed horror film a little bit. And the reason I want to bring it up is because everybody that's in it almost has been on the show, and they're fun. So we've had Malcolm McDowell on the show. We have not had Keith David. We've had Lance Henriksen on the show. Elaine Hendricks has been on the show. Armand Asante has not been on the show, and Christopher Atkins has not been on the show. But now you're on the show. Adrian Paul's been on the show. Michael Bailey Smith's been on the show, and Eileen Dietz has been on the show. And it was a very good movie. How was it working? Because that's a relatively cool, like, special in horror. Because I like horror movies. That's a very horror, movie kind of horror. How do you say horror? Horror. Okay.
He said horror. One time we had a show and he wait a minute, seriously. One time we had a show and the actress came on and he said, "Oh, she's a star horror." And I said, "Jimmy, you can't do that. It's horror." He pronounced
I don't know. I'm from horror.
So she said, "I'm not a whore." So I said, "No, he didn't say that, honey. He's from Florida. They don't speak English down in Florida."
No, but it was a cool movie, and it was a very well-known cast of people, and half of those people are very well-known in horror. Horror. Like, do you like horror? First of all, do you like horror movies at all?
No.
Okay.
Me neither.
Let me take that back. This was not that film that we can't name. was not a gory.
No, it was for kids horror. No.
Yeah, it was like for kids, right? Well, it wasn't for kids, but it was kind of a goofy.
It was a feel good.
And
I love it.
I don't like what I call slice and dice films.
Right.
I don't like blood and gore. I don't like any of that. But I do like thrillers, and I did like that film, and I thought it was funny. It was like a spoof, and silly. And I liked my role. I played, the richest woman in the world who was the only politician left living because she had had everybody else killed off.
I loved it. I actually own the DVD.
What?
I actually own it. So
he's got a collection.
So I collect horror movies
of DVDs that we could fill a house.
But I collect action figures and.
You have to move all that.
And yes,
right now it's all in storage.
I put it all in storage
because you know why? Mm-hmm. I said we can't sell our house if people go in and see your office. It looks like a horror hotel. They're going to say these people are witches. They're spooks. They're crazy. He's got every kind of. No, he's got 7-foot things that come alive when you walk by. Ooh! Somebody going in that room to buy the house, and the goddamn thing goes. Ooh!
That's house for Halloween. Do you do Halloween parties for kids or at Halloween time?
I do it all for myself. Oh, no, we used to, but now I just collect all those things for myself.
Everything.
Malcolm McDowell and Lance Henriksen are two of my favorite actors, and
tell them what you did with Malcolm McDowell.
I used to go. Okay, so
this had the nerve to say this to Malcolm McDowell.
I used to be a celebrity clothing designer, and I would go to conventions. And I would take tons of clothes, and then I would give it to them if they would, let me take pictures with them in it, and they all loved it. And then that's how I built the show originally. That's how I got, Malcolm McDowell was on the show in our first, couple of weeks, that I started.
That. Oh, yeah. I wish you still did that. I could use some clothes.
And same thing with Lance Henriksen. So the first time I met Malcolm McDowell, I was single then. I wasn't with Ron. And I always bought a VIP ticket, so I walked up to him and I whispered in his ear, I know you're straight, but if you were gay, I would rock your world. And he literally laughed and gave me a hug, and he took my phone number, and I became good friends with Chris Rowe.
Oh.
And he took me to dinner, and we went to breakfast, and I went to breakfast with Lance Henriksen.
Make it that he's straight.
Oh, no, he's straight. I didn't have sex, but I went to dinner. Then he invited me to breakfast, and I got to go to breakfast with Malcolm McDowell, Lance Henriksen, and Doug Bradley, who plays Pinhead, because that's not the name of the movie. He plays Pinhead, and it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
Oh my gosh, Lance and Malcolm together is really chaos.
And they gave me all these great collectibles, that you can't get. Like Lance makes these tiles from a certain movie that he was in, and he doesn't sell them. He just makes them, and he gave me one, and Malcolm gave me another movie, a head bust from another movie that he was in. I
want to just bring out a point. A real man, a true heterosexual, straight, butch man, is not afraid of a gay man. He will hug him. Listen, I'm good friends with Larry privately.
Lorenzo
Lamas.
Okay.
Lamas hugs me. He'll give me a kiss on the cheek. He's the straightest man. I mean, he'll bang a chick in a minute. He's crazy,
He is married now, So.
Yeah,
and he likes
back then.
He likes those pole dancer women. His mother, Arlene, was a very good friend of mine, Arlene Dahl.
Oh, of course. Oh, my gosh. She was so gorgeous.
No, breathtaking.
Really
milk white skin, fire red hair, and emerald green eyes.
He was
brilliantly spoken, intelligent, a very good friend of mine, very dear friend for years. And my daughter Leslie was single, and Larry was single. And I said, Arlene, why don't we fix Larry up with my daughter? And she said, Ron, I wouldn't wish it on Leslie. She said, you know the types of girls he goes out with. She said, they all dance on poles.
Oh.
So another one who did that too, Ron went dancing with Stephen Lang, who's from a very popular franchise.
Very popular.
I love Stephen.
And they started dancing in front of hundreds of people.
Slow dancing, cheek to cheek.
It was hilarious.
Gosh.
Yeah, these guys are so straight that they're not afraid of their sexuality.
Straight, right?
Oh, yeah, he's straight.
I know one actor in particular who's terrified of gay or anything like it. He runs away from it. He's nuts.
Because he's probably gay.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's afraid he's going to be found out. But one thing about Rock Hudson I have to say is I was on McMillan and White. I played a
you can't.
It's in a show.
Oh, did I say
show?
No, Millie, my
So drop that.
Millie, my life.
There you go. Yeah, and it's really hard. I know it's hard to
Slip.
talk about all these names, but it is really important.
I was never on that show. But if I were on that show, I might have heard the script girl being told by Rock, the line is not right. I want it redone. And when I listened to the line, I thought, It was a little bit of a feminine line. It was not Rock Hudson tough.
Okay, so he did not want to say that because
he was very protective of his image, and he knew how to be a straight man always. And I could. No.
So in another movie that we're not allowed to mention, and I don't know who this person is, I actually went to Ron and said, do you know who this person is? He says, absolutely. And I said, you played her. You played Billy Dove. Who is Billy Dove? Tell us.
Billy Dove was Ziegfeld's wife, Flo Ziegfeld's wife.
Actually, Billy Dove, maybe she was, I don't know, but she was a big silent film star. She actually, when she retired to Palm Springs, where you guys live,
right.
and was there for many, many years. But her story, which the part of the story that project covers, how can I say this without saying it? Let me think. Okay. So she was a very beautiful, she would look her up. She's gorgeous.
Tiny little beautiful woman.
Yeah, gorgeous. And of course, I am tall.
Again, she played in The Wizard of Oz.
She did not, actually. She was a silent film star, very big in silent films. And she became under contract to Howard Hughes. I can say his name. She was under contract to Howard Hughes. She was married, and Howard Hughes just fell for her. And so he offered her husband, it was completely incorrigible, $100,000, which back then was, God knows,
a lot of money,
like millions, right? Offered her husband $100,000 if he would divorce Billy so that Howard could marry her. And the husband, being the cad that he was, took the money and divorced Billy.
Oh, wow.
And then Howard changed his mind and decided not to marry Billy, but he put her under contract, and so she always had a good income from that. So she wasn't left, penniless, and she was. You can look her up because she was really, really beautiful, and it was great playing her, and the person I worked opposite in that project was Tommy Lee Jones, and that was really fun because I really love Tommy Lee, and that's all I can say.
Yes,
I was best friends for years. Who I took her name was Jane Russell. Jane Russell and I were like brother and sister. We hung out all over. I adore her still and mourn her always. And in spite of what people say, she was not cranky and nasty. She just didn't like certain people. No, really, she was like me, tough girl. She would tell you. People would say, "Oh, darling, let's do lunch," and she'd turn into this. Oh, she hated that Beverly Hills bullshit.
Maybe she just didn't like. Maybe she didn't suffer fools.
No, she didn't like people that were that would condescend her or bullshit her. Jane was a tough broad. Anyway, she told me that Howard Hughes was after Ava Gardner like you can't believe.
Oh, so there's another gorgeous woman.
I said, Jane, well, did he get anywhere with Ava Gardner? She said, no, Ron, Ava Gardner was nuts. She was crazy. Really? And I said, really crazy? She said, yes, she was nuts. She used to beat him up. She used to hit him with things. She used to curse him out. I mean, he loved it. He loved it. He did. He was pursuing her until Sinatra finally, when they got together, put a stop to it with Hughes.
And then
Howard Hughes did marry my buddy, who still is my buddy, Terry Moore.
I know Terry. Yes.
I love Terry. Terry is my darling friend. And it's true Howard Hughes did marry Terry Moore on a boat, but there was no proof of that marriage.
But she got the money.
Yeah.
And a lot of zeros.
So wait,
I met through Jane Russell. Listen to the stars. My lovely Jane introduced me to Terry Moore, Esther Williams, Arlene Dahl. I knew Shelley Winters on my own. A cast of stars you can't believe.
Mr. Blackwell?
No, I met Mr. Blackwell on my own. But I mean, Jane just knew everybody in the business, and all the ladies liked me. They all thought I was a cute guy or something. I don't know.
So wait, I'm gonna brag a little bit more, and it's gonna lead me into my next little segment.
Okay.
So some of the other people, you guys, that Lee has worked with, Jan Michael Vincent, William Catt, he's been on the show, Gary Busey, Patty
Don't you know Gary Busey?
I know him, yeah. Sam Melville, Robert England, Charlene Tilton. We just met her at the Academy Awards. I think we can say
Academy Awards?
Yeah, at a party, not at the Academy Awards. But
Okay.
Then James Caan, Stephen Bauer, Terry Polo. I love Terry Polo. Melanie
I know
Griffith.
Stephen Bauer.
Yeah, I know you do. Hang
I
on.
love Stephen Bauer. I love him.
Richard Farnsworth,
good-looking
Michael
guy.
Pare. You know Michael Pare.
Oh,
Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, Joe Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, Nicholas Coster, Bo Bridges, Lloyd Bridges. And we said Ed Lauder, Patrick Darbo. We know her. Ed Lauder has always been like the guy who I was always afraid of growing up because he always played the mean guy. He was like the sheriff. Somebody who was mean, but he's fabulous. Bill Bixby, Luke Ferrigno, Charles Napier. The reason I bring this up, then, I usually have two questions I like to ask all the actors and actresses. I can only ask one of them. One of them is, what movie would you like to have been in, which you can't answer. But what you can answer is, so bucket list, you've already worked with some of the biggest people on the planet.
Can't answer that either.
She can too.
You can't answer what movie would you want to be in?
No, I can't answer that. No.
Bucket list, male and female actor. If you could have worked with anybody in your career and they can be living or dead, who would somebody who you would have loved to have worked with, both a male and a female, that you haven't worked with because you already worked with everybody?
I have worked with a whole lot of people. That's a really huge question. Boy, who would I? Well, okay. The first person that comes to mind is Laurence Olivier.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And I kind of go back to the golden age because I like that time period. Clark Gable.
Gable, he's cute.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I like.
He was a hard guy to get along with.
I wouldn't even care.
He really was very, very nice.
Gable. What do I care? I tell you who I like right now that I just think this guy is, and I can't mention the project, but you can look him up. Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, he's awesome. Timothy Chalamet.
He's very young. He's utterly brilliant. I mean, I think this guy can do anything. I don't know how old he is, 20-something or 30-something. He's very young. But he's a master. He's just a master.
He's this generation's Johnny Depp in a lot of ways.
I think he's this generation's, I don't know, everything, because I don't see anything he can't do.
Yeah,
and he's a skinny little guy that you'd never think could do power. And the guy can do power like very few people can do today. I mean, true power emanating from him. He's amazing. And then women, I would have liked to have worked with Olivia. I mean, I did kind of secondhand, playing her. And then I got a lovely letter from her afterwards. She liked my performance as well. It was really nice. I still have it. And I would have loved to have worked with Olivia because I consider her to be one of the truly great actresses, of all time. And that's about, I don't know. It's such a huge question.
Chalamet's 27. The chat room's 27.
Oh my gosh. To think what else will be coming from him.
So give us a current female. Is there like a current female that's living now that you like a lot?
No.
I have an Olivia de Havilland story.
You know what? There is somebody. Okay. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Ron. Okay.
Show. It's good.
The young girl who plays Wednesday
Yes.
on the newest iteration of
That show.
that
Jenna
show.
Ortega.
Yeah, Jennifer. What's her name again?
Jenna
Jenny.
Jenna Ortega.
Oh, Jenna Ortega. Oh my gosh, that girl.
I have her action figure.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing. I didn't even know she had an action figure. No, she is so good, and I think she's going to prove to be extremely versatile and one of the greats. My gosh, that girl.
More of a horror
She's
fan.
like what? What is she, like 19 or?
Young, yeah. She's super young, but
I'd love to play her mother, her aunt, her grandmother, whatever. You know, it would just be really exciting to work.
she's got big things coming out.
Okay, going back to the back years, the golden years of Hollywood, I spoke with Betty one time, and I never really wanted to push her with private questions because Betty didn't like Betty Davis. I'm talking about.
Right,
She
of course.
didn't like that. She did. Betty Davis.
Betty.
She was very private. Betty Davis was had a great sense of humor, and she liked you if you made her laugh. But I did say to her, "Why is it that if everybody in Hollywood, and I know you dislike Joan Crawford, of which she had no reaction to, do you love Olivia de Havilland?" She said, "Olivia." She said, "Olivia was like my kid sister." She said, "I hated Errol Flynn. And when Olivia was madly in love with him after making Robin Hood, she said, I took her under my wing and I educated her." So knowing what Betty Davis's education was, boy, oh boy.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Olivia listened, or whatever. And I guess not stop going out with Errol Flynn. I never met Errol, but I know people who knew him well. And they said, boy, oh boy, he was one wild guy. Wild as they come.
Those true ladies, man.
No, men too. Men and with ladies. Men.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Who's the biggest star you ever worked with?
Oh my gosh, I've worked with so many.
Well, the biggest. Mine was Sophia Loren.
I don't know, Kirk Douglas.
Now, Kirk, what are you talking about? You got the king, one of the best in Hollywood. Kirk Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Michael was nothing like
Orson Welles.
No,
I love
Kirk Douglas.
What about though? Okay, so I read. I don't know if I think I Googled it. I read that somehow like you were mentored by Steve McQueen, who I think Steve McQueen's hot, super hot.
I was. He chose me to be in a film, and then he mentored me because I was my first film. It was actually I'd only done at that point a few commercials, and then I had been signed to do a series, but I had an out clause because I was in the process of doing the audition process. There were 5 auditions for the film that Steve produced that I eventually got. And so I had done one line on the series. And then because I had an out clause, and when I got the film, I could leave, and they were great. They wished me well, and nobody was mad at me, and that was great. And so Steve then took me under his wing because I knew nothing. I mean, I was nobody, from nowhere.
First film and Steve McQueen.
I know, yeah, and he.
Our first film is like the clown kills you 8,000 times. Something stupid. I mean, to work with Steve McQueen on your first film is just freaking awesome.
It was, yeah. And my second film was with Orson Welles. So I always say after that, it's like nobody intimidates me.
That's awesome.
You're making
baptism.
You're making fun of these horror movies that I'm in.
No, not you. Me too. I was in a long time.
Let me tell you something about these cheesy horror films. When we shot That Kind of Woman with Ted Hunter, because I'm old. I'm 80 years old and I forget.
When you shot a movie with Tab Hunter
and Sophia Loren, I didn't have any fun, even though I met Sophia on the set. No fun.
You didn't have any fun?
No, because it was Lumet was directing. It was a very, very, we were shooting in a railroad station. It was difficult. And I didn't enjoy the whole process. I liked meeting her. And of course, Tab Hunter became my friend all his life until he passed away. He was my very dear friend. So that came out of it. These horror films, I have fun on the set. It's not so intense. like the
No movies.
the big movies.
Right.
You know, what movie have you ever worked on that was
Can't
not
tell
fun?
you.
No, I don't mean the title. No, I hate it. This is such a difficult interview. How can I say it?
Without saying.
Have you ever found a set difficult where you couldn't wait for the film to be finished because you were uncomfortable working in that?
Well, not, and I will never name names, but not the set of a film. I mean, I've had some really difficult sets, you know, physically difficult, strenuous, being thrown into water and jumping out of cars and things like that. And then, of course, 14, 15-hour days and, you know, all of that, right? I have worked with actors who I will never name, who I couldn't wait to not work with those actors. And there's only really 2 or 3. But I couldn't wait to be done working with those actors because they were so difficult. And usually when you get, because most people that I've worked with have been incredibly professional, courteous, friendly, we became friends, you know, still are.
Awesome.
So usually when you have that kind of situation, there's either drugs or alcohol or insanity involved.
More like insanity.
Or all of the above, you know.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've been in the company of
People.
actors who think they are beyond God.
Oh my gosh.
They are supreme. Do not look at me. Do not speak to me. I'm in my private dressing room. I shall not be annoyed with my co-stars. And if it wasn't for me, this film would never happen. So kiss my ass every morning. You know, and those people, you want to just knock on their ass. You want to get one punch in the face.
We have that even here on the show. Like, you're extremely accomplished. You have wait. Let me
She's a professional.
Let me finish my statement. You have a 2-time primetime.
Dickerson's right here.
Yes.
Dickersons.
We're married, so
I know, and so are the Dickersons.
10 years I'm married.
So hold on. So my point being, we've had people on the show who might have had, like I was saying, you're super accomplished. You've accomplished so many things. We have people who come on and they win a reality show and they're famous for 15 minutes, and you would not believe like the attitudes that they have. And
Oh, I would.
everything. Yeah, and it's just amazing to me because we can have someone, you know, like you on or Stephen Lang or somebody who's, you know, really done just such wonderful things and the nicest people ever.
Professional.
And so professional, yes.
She used the
And these other people are just terrible.
I know.
He ended the interview after like 10 minutes because he was just like, yeah, I can't even do this. Like,
I couldn't
go.
She was an impossible human being. If I had to be with this woman in a room for an hour, I would have choked myself or scared myself.
Or choked her.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble for that.
I've never met a person that wasn't human. It was an ego.
Ooh.
Oh, I have never met the most nasty, obnoxious, evil.
And it's usually the smaller people for us that come on the show.
Jane Russell would say all the time, I got Lisa Provo, who'd you work with, what her movies and whatever. She loved and adored, my God. Anyway, Vincent Price was one of the best.
Oh, I've heard he was just a wonderful gentleman.
And Robert Mitchum was Jane Russell's dearest and best friend.
Oh, yeah.
I was to her after he died. I placed his place. And she said to me, working with Mitch was great. Working with Vincent Price was great. She said, but there are some that you just cannot work with. She said, because they are difficult. They're late on the set. If you tell them they're late on the set, they want to walk off the set or walk off the picture. They're time bombs, she said. You never know what to say or do. And also, she said, one person she worked with, I won't give her name, a woman.
Don't.
Who I happen to have liked as an actress, but Jane Russell said was totally impossible because she was banging everybody on the set. All the
takes a lot of time.
No, not all of it. No, but she was banging some of the biggies, and she got away with murder because of that. And one scene in the movie where Jane Russell had a very low-cut dress, which showed some cleavage, she went and had a fight with the clothing, the designer, and said, "Why am I always up here when Jane Russell's down there?" They said, "Well, Jane Russell's known for her cleavage. That's her."
For that, I mean, the bra. Remember,
36B. You know, that's all she was 36B. No,
she wore Howard Hughes. Remember, he designed that bra.
Yes.
She never wore.
There were pictures taken, and so she became very famous for her body-shaped bust line.
When she did the Outlaw, oops,
what's the matter with you?
I'm old. I don't know. You know what? I keep forgetting.
I'm sorry. He
anyway, movie. You'll watch it anyway. She hated the movie. It was a terrible film. Hours and hours of scenes. He shot the Tombstone 160.
So hang on, we got it.
Anyway, this actress went and had them cut her so low that she was in competition with Jane. It was a good competition. So Jane never said anything.
So you guys, listen up. First of all, follow Lee on her Instagram. It's at the Lee Purcell. Lee is Lee. You can follow her website is leepurcell.com. Please check out Hollywood Radio Players. The website is hollywoodradioplayers.com. If you go to hollywoodradioplayers.com, does it take you to the YouTube thing to see them all or no?
Well, a drop-down menu comes down of all the shows. You click on the show you want to see, and that takes you directly to that show on YouTube. Also, I want to mention Facebook. Mm-hmm. I'm more active on Facebook than I am on Instagram. I should be better with Instagram, but I don't have a lot of time. But so Facebook, the Facebook Lee Purcell fan page. That's where I interact with my fans and so forth.
Even though we couldn't talk like we would, you did a great job. I screwed up. You know, I keep forgetting. I'm so used. I've been interviewing for so many years. I can't not interview the way I like to interview.
It's very difficult. It's really hard. But guys, you did great.
You have been in some really good movies that I've enjoyed. And I've seen your work, and I like your work. I've never critiqued you as some I do. You know, I see some films and some things that I just think the actor didn't do it. You know, how do you do the same thing? I mean, I look at the photography, I listen to sound, color, lighting. I do everything when I watch a movie. You too. So if the actor's just missing it, I get upset. But I've seen you in several things, and you just pass the bill. You're good.
I'm
not lying. I don't blow smoke up.
You made my day. You did.
So we want to also thank Harlan Bowl for setting this thing up.
Harlan,
congratulations on your career. And when the strike is over, if you've got anything you want to promote that we can mention the title of, let us know, and we'll bring you back.
I would love to come back. In the meantime, keep watching Hollywood Radio Players because we do put up new shows. And there'll be another one up in maybe 6 weeks. And there's 10 up right now, and there's a wide variety. So I hope everybody enjoys it. And if you can donate, great to Motion Picture and Television Fund. And if you can't, that's okay. Enjoy the show.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And earlier I said Harlan used to be gorgeous. Harlan, you're still gorgeous.
Oh, Harlan is gorgeous.
He's gorgeous.
And anytime you want me to cheat, give me a call. You never know.
Yeah,
I will mention that to him. I'm going out. I will tell him about your very generous offer.
He thinks he's crazy already.
He thinks I'm crazy to begin with. When I meet him at red carpets and stuff, we talk for a minute, and then he goes like this, and he runs away.
Lee, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Hair color, keep it.
All right.
Well, I had it all my life, but when I was different.
I hope one day to maybe work with you. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, I would love that so much.
I think we would do a rolling film.
I would just
fun on the set.
I have 9 films on hold right now.
And I have 6 waiting.
Oh, good. Well, you're lucky guys. You're lucky.
I've been waiting 4 years for my 6. Because we had COVID. You know, I'm so sick of the line. There's one movie called Death House.
No, shit.
Oh, shit.
Hey, we go anyway, because we have another class. We have another guest anyway.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you to everybody watching and listening for watching and listening.
Absolutely.
I'll see you another time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. That was Lee Purcell. She's fabulous. 2-time
It is
primetime
really
Emmy nominee.
difficult to do the show now without mentioning titles of movies. And
so we're going to take a quick music break, you guys. We're going to play Stefano, Why I'm Here. Stefano's wife just had a baby, and they're very cool. We like them a lot. And then when we come back, we'll be with our next guest, Charlie Z, also known as DRMAGDN. Enjoy, everybody. Here's Stefano, Why I'm Here.
Reflection in the mirror. Try to be strong, but nothing's clear. It's been a long day, yeah, it's been a long year. Ma keeps calling, saying, listen here. Kick them doors open, your kingdom will come. Don't lose hope, son, stay full of love. So I drown my fears and I swam to change. Now watch me run through the pouring rain. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. Stop doing things I don't wanna do. Guess it's cool, cause it brought me to you on this windy road. Yeah, friends come and go, but I got you here now, and you're all I know. You wake me up, you hold me down, you never leave, you are my crown. There's no question, it's crystal clear. Now I know this is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. This is why I'm here. Oh, this is what I'm here for. This is why I'm here. Yeah, this is what I'm here for. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. Oh, this is why I'm here. Oh, this is what I'm here for. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. Oh, this is what yeah, yeah. This is why I'm here. Yeah, what I'm here for. Reflection in the mirror. Try to be strong, but nothing's clear. It's been a long day. It's been a long year. Now I know this is why I'm here.
All right, everybody, now we're back. That was, again, Stefano, Why I'm Here. Love Stefano. We actually met him at an event here in California, and we became pretty good friends, so it's really cool. And now we're going to bring our next guest on. Let's make sure we can hear him.
Check, check. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up? Yes, we can hear you. Oh,
Great.
it's not red. It's not
yeah. What's up, guys?
All right, so let me do an official introduction. All right, everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Cyborg, drummer and DJ, DRMAGDN. Hello and welcome to the show! Yay!
What's up, boys? How you guys doing?
Good. So I don't know if Ron actually remembers that you were like the headliner at the Soho Johnny 911 benefit event.
Why do you make me out to be fucking senile?
So we've seen you guys. We've actually met DRMAGDN. He's a friend of the show. He's a phenomenal drummer. You can't even believe how great he is. And his hair sometimes is red because he's got a song we're going to talk about in a little while. So how did we decide to go back to black?
Oh, this is the Clark Kent. You got the Superman when I'm actually doing the live shows. We got Clark Kent to keep it a little low key. But I got the red jacket, so we're good to go now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there we go. So we have a chat room with a bunch of people in
when
this.
did you decide to have a hair comb that looks like an erection?
Well, when I saw you, because you're so hot, man. I mean, I got to tell you. 9/11, that's the exact date, so you know.
That was hilarious.
Real quick, I'm eating peanuts. I'm hungry.
Well, I'm glad it's just peanuts.
Lunch.
He didn't have any lunch, so hold on.
To get my boss over here.
So hang on, we have a chat room. Say hi to everybody in the chat room, because the chat room is actually on Facebook now because YouTube was having a problem, so everybody's watching on Facebook.
Awesome.
And say hi to the chat room, and let's get going. So first of all, are you from New York? I know you live in the Village, I think, right? Are you a native New Yorker?
No, I'm from Jersey originally, but I live in West Village, basically Christopher and Bleecker. So literally that cover that I did of Abbey Road in New York City, that's the street. That's my street that I'm crossing over 7th Ave with the whole thing. And you could actually see, like, that is Christopher Street, and that's the World Trade Center, and that's 7th Ave right there. That's where I live.
New Jersey and New York people almost sound alike. New Jersey people want to sound like New Yorkers. They just miss it.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you live in the West Village. So I want to know, because you've done so many cool things. The first thing I want to know is how did you wake up and say one day, gee, I'm going to be like a freaking Cyborg drummer? How long have you been drumming?
I've been drumming since I was 7, but the thing was I was playing with everyone else. I was doing, gigs with different pop artists, jazz artists, hip hop people, metal, progressive music, fusion, hip hop, whatever. And then I became a producer, music director for a while. And I started touring with this guy named Out of Sight on Warner Brothers. And that gig, the music director called me and he goes, hey man, this guy's got a hit on the radio. It's on Z100. He needs a band. It's like, all right, cool. So can you jump in and be my Cyborg drummer? And I'm like, yeah, man, sure. What the hell's that? And he goes, yeah, I need you to run tracks. I need you to DJ. I need you to sing back up and hype the crowd. I need you to play the drums and do all this while leading the band.
And everything else, whatever they can get you for. They'll make you do 100 things for the money.
You know what, man? I'll make you an omelet too at this point. Just make sure the check clears. I'm good to go. But I wound up doing that, and that was for a couple of years. And then I noticed that it's like a lot of people were seeing me juggle all those balls back there. And I'm like, all right, well, let me cut out the middle, man. Let me call some of my, singers from The Voice and American Idol like Ale and Jerome Bell and Manny Cabo, who you guys just had on, and just stick them on my own tracks. And now, during the shutdown, everything blew up, and here we are, man. 2.21 million plays and views now. So
we had Jerome Bell. We had Jerome Bell on the show before, and Mandy we just had last week, and now we've got you this week. So let me brag a little for you.
Yeah, please.
Here's some of the places you guys. So first of all, tell us, how did we come up with the name then DRMAGDN?
That's a good one. So I did this drum solo on YouTube, in early YouTube. This had to be like 2010, 2011, where I drummed up an entire Brooklyn building in one take. So I just put drums through the whole thing. It took me like a half a day to set up, did a one-take drum solo. Went mini viral for the time, and I named it DRMAGDN. And then I realized, why don't I just call myself DRMAGDN, take out some of the letters and everything, and truncate it to make it look better on posters, and I'm DRMAGDN now, and it's a fun, cool name.
The one and only.
That's right.
Yes.
I know. I think it's freaking fabulous. So you guys, he's played the Winter Olympics, the Lollapalooza Warped Tour, the Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, MetLife Stadium, Bamboozle Fest, and he's on MTV's TRL, AOL Sessions, The Today Show, Royal Albert Hall. He's toured 31 countries, 43 states. He's heard on 250 plus records. He's had a Times Square billboard. He's in the Sick Drummer. That's a hilarious title. Sick Drummer Hall of Fame. Yeah. And he's on the Blender Magazine's Best Drummers of All Time list, which, I've always been a fan of drummers. And I used to be really good friends with Bobby Blotzer.
Oh, yeah. Bobby, man. Rat. Come on. Round and round.
We've had a ton. Now I can't think of who they are, but over the years, mostly before Ron came on the show, we've had tons of drummers because I've always loved drummers. And I always think it's the coolest thing, and it's the one thing that I wanted to be in music when I was young, but my parents were like, yeah, not drums. You could do piano or some other shit, but not drums. What?
I was best friends with the world's greatest drummer, Earl Palmer.
Oh, God, of course.
Earl Palmer and I knew his sons, Ronald and I forgot the other one's name, but Earl Palmer was the best.
Now, for those who don't know, Earl Palmer is one of the greatest Motown drummers, and he played on tons and tons of the biggest hits of all time. So all that 50s stuff, badass.
He was a studio musician.
Yeah, amazing.
So
Earl Palmer was a friend of mine.
So tell us the thing about all the plays. So like, how many plays have you had worldwide?
Yeah, so since I started the whole DRMAGDN thing, I mean, I kind of loosely began it about 10 years ago, but I really got serious, 3 years ago. And then into the pandemic is when I basically blew up. But it's 21 plays and views across all my socials. And the latest single hit 2.5 mil in like a month. And I haven't checked it because I've been on tour. I just got back from the Midwest and South America. And where else was I? Canada. I was in Europe, November of last year and that whole thing, and I mean, I'm back now. I could actually count them up again. It's probably over 3 mil. And Jimmy actually has been helping out with the promo. It's been freaking amazing. Super, super awesome articles coming through him. And Eileen Shapiro, got to shout her out and everything too. Best PR people in the business, man. And, it's been a real blast. So
how did people find you to put you on a project?
They go to a public bathroom. His phone number's right on the wall.
It is, exactly. It's like, for a good time, call DRMAGDN,
How do you, I know you have a website, you guys, but you can go to the DRMAlliance.com, and his Instagram is DRMAGDN, and then it's DRMAGDN, but you got to make sure you spell it DRMAGDN.
That's me everywhere, and that's literally YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Spotify, and there it is. Yeah. So that's the spelling. And I've gotten actually verified everywhere, which is really cool. I mean, it took me a while to go through the whole rigmarole, but I'm verified on all the platforms. And when I live stream now, I hit 85,000 to 100,000 people each time I go live, which is at my gigs, which is crazy.
Cut the bullshit. Get on the skins.
You know what? Look.
Let's hear what you can do. Let's see what you could do.
Unfortunately, I've tried that in previous, podcasts, and the one mic clips. I mean, I basically got this awesome blue mic right here, but the thing is, those mics are not set up to this system, so you won't even be able to hear it. So if you just check me out online, literally just type in DRMAGDN anywhere, you can see.
No. What we're gonna do though? Okay, so
come on, you little communist bastard.
I am wearing red, I have to admit.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So you have a brand new song. It's called. It's not a brand new song. You did a DRMAGDN version of the song "Something" by the Beatles, featuring Michelle Ray, who was on Team Like of The Voice. You got the rights to record it. I'm hoping they don't shut us down when we play the video. We're going to find out. And but tell us a little bit about it. So how did this come about? Because that's a huge, huge song, and just having to have the permission to do it is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the craziest thing. Look, Something and the Beatles are my favorite band. Something's my favorite song of all time from the Beatles. And BMG Records is who I'm signed to. They wound up buying the catalog of George Harrison, one of the main Beatles. He wrote the song himself, so there's 100% ownership from BMG. So when I met with them, they're like, "Oh yeah, you could totally do a remix if you want." I'm like, "Really? Yeah, it's totally legal, it's totally cool." All right, so I called up Michelle Ray from The Voice. She crushed it. I have a Grammy-winning orchestra, with a bunch of my friends on it, and I just put it out. And the music video was really cool and special because I went to every single place that the Beatles went to when they first landed to start Beatlemania in New York. So Carnegie Hall, Plaza Hotel, where they did the interviews, and JFK, and Ed Sullivan Show, where they played to 73 million people. It's all in the music video, and you can see, I reverently go around and check it out. I went on the Beatles tour, and I filmed it. And then the actual album cover, again, I redid the Abbey Road thing, which is really freaking cool.
You made homesick from my New York.
And right there, you can see those are real feet on the pavement. So I've got all sorts of communicable and non-communicable diseases at this point from wearing no shoes on the pavement in New York. So
here's what I want to poll. Hopefully I'm hoping that YouTube doesn't shut us down. We're going to find out because it happens once in a while, and it just depends. Or hopefully we can get through it. But either way, stay on because we'll be talking either way. because for the audio, we'll be able to play it for the audio on all the radio stations that we go on.
Oh, we're not doing video?
We're going to do the video, but I don't know if we'll get shut down or not.
Probably we will.
So we're going to, maybe not. We're not on YouTube today, though. We're on Facebook Live, so we might not. We'll find out. Anyways,
why are we not on YouTube?
So because never mind, because you don't pay attention. Yeah, I went through that at the beginning of the show, the whole thing.
But
YouTube's not working.
No, listen, Mary. I
got it on Facebook. I'm on Facebook.
Oh, I'm going to beat the shit out of this one.
All right, so what I want you to do I
wish you were here.
You announced the video.
You know why I wish you were here? I grab your body, hold it like a tree, and that point in your head, I shove right in his chest. I kill him with the point.
No, so here.
I'm going to get a candy bar.
No, you're not. No. You don't leave until we play the song.
Well, you don't want me to talk.
No.
I'm going to get. No.
Okay, so John, again, what I want you to do is you introduce the video. We're going to play it, and then hang on. We're going to talk about it when it comes back. You introduce it, and Juan's going to play it.
I'm going to go get a candy bar.
Awesome. So guys, this is the official DRMAGDN remix of Something featuring Michelle Ray from The Voice on BMG Records, and it's out worldwide on YouTube. It's on Spotify and everywhere. So check out the music video. Rock and roll.
Yay!
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. I don't wanna leave her now. You know I believe in how. Somewhere in her smile she knows that I don't need no other lover. Something in the style that shows me I don't wanna leave her now. You know I believe in how. You're asking me, will my love grow? I don't know. She grew in nature. I don't know. Something in the way she knows. And all I have to do is think of her. Something in the things she shows me. I don't wanna leave her now. You know I believe in how.
Yay! Doesn't
Now,
look like
let
we
me
had
tell
a
you
problem.
something. The girl, who's that blonde? She's beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Like all that stuff was sent from filmmakers from around the world that helped me out with the last video, Get Tough, basically with Manny Cabo. So this is a whole nother cycle of a bunch of footage from around the world, which is dope. Yeah.
Did you get anywhere with the blonde?
Not with that one. I'm more of a redhead guy, as you can imagine.
No, I like the video. If we had a different drummer, I think the video would be better.
Oh, definitely. Maybe Earl Palmer. That would be actually great. I'm not sure if he's feeling that great right now because
Earl has passed away.
I love it. So first of all, I think the video is terrific. It's cool how you went to all the different places that the Beatles are.
I liked it.
Who was the ballet dancer person? So somebody sent you that footage in?
Yeah,
so
that was I think she's South African actually.
She was beautiful.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, and her technique, impeccable technique, and just that, the beautiful moves and everything. But I sat down and edited it all myself. I directed the video, got all my own footage, put it all together with everyone else's, and came out really cool. And I had to do, and this is the biggest, band of all time, the biggest shoes to fill. So can't drop the ball here. So I have to make sure I get the artwork down, I get the videos down, the audio and everything. So Yeah.
You did a beautiful job because it's very slick.
Thank you,
like
Ron.
slick. I don't like choppy.
Nice.
It's slick. It ran. It's smooth. You know what I mean? It didn't go da 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 da. Just graceful. It was relaxing and beautiful.
So
how come you did such a good job for a crappy drummer?
Well, I mean, everyone likes a dog, the drummer, obviously. That's why I'm now a drummer, DJ, producer, music director, and artist. So then no one can say shit about it because, I'm doing it all. So that's it.
No, I love it.
I sleep with the producer of this show. That's why I get away with murder.
Murder by my mohawk directly into his chest.
Yes. So I have a question because, a lot of people who are on The Voice. What is how is it that you know everybody who's on The Voice? And first of all, we should give props to Michelle Ray singing. The version. She did a great job. She's fabulous. She's super talented. She's pretty. So how is it that you know all these? Because Manny Cabo was on The Voice. Yeah. Bell, what's his face?
Jerome Bell, Ali Guercio. She was Alessandra Guercio. I mean, all these people. So again, being in the New York scene for so many years and producing people, music directing people, and drumming for people, I've worked with them all in various gigs. I'm like, oh, that voice is awesome. So let me just grab his info. Let me grab her info. Michelle actually was auditioning for record labels back in the day when she still lived in Long Island. She now lives in LA and did the voice thing. I was her music director. So I put her band together. We tried to get a record deal. She didn't get one at the time. And then she wound up, continuing to sing. And every song that I do for my own tracks or a remix will always be, whatever great voices come to mind. I'll go through my book. Her voice came up. I'm like, yeah, she's going to destroy this. It sounds so good, really emotional. It brings this depth to the lyrics that wasn't there in the original. Look, the original is unbelievable. It's still my favorite Beatles song ever, but it does something new for the new generation for, Gen Z, pop, EDM kind of lovers. It's got a louder production that works better in the clubs and everything. So that's why I sat down to do it this way and do something different. I flipped the gender. I flipped I also flipped the key. It's a different key, different tempo. And the overall thing, I rebuilt the track from the ground up. So I redid all the strings, I redid all the horns, I redid, everything from the ground up, and then remixed it from scratch, basically. So who
are some of your, okay, you said the Beatles are your favorite. So who are some of your influences growing up? What kind of music did you like growing up?
Well, when it comes to drummers, since we've been talking a lot of drummers, Buddy Rich is my favorite drummer of all time. Monster player, and he used to do really fun drum solo-y things. I consider myself the gritty, movie reboot of someone like a Buddy Rich who has a crazy drum set and, plays up buildings and that whole thing, but does it for a new generation.
What about Gene Krupa?
Gene Krupa is amazing, but he was the good-looking dude with the stick flips where Buddy Rich was a little bit crazier and faster and more technical. So that's the difference between. But Gene Krupa, amazing. Carmine Appice is another guy from Vanilla Fudge.
I actually know him.
Yeah, and me too. I sub for Carmine on Vanilla Fudge gigs. So they'll call me and I'll just jump in and be the Carmine of the gig. And
So you did Mark Stein.
Mark Stein is the best dude in the world. I just saw him
when I was a clothing designer in Florida. He used to shop and I dressed him for a bunch of gigs, and I'm still very good friends. And he's been on the show, and I'm friends with his wife Patty. We send Facebook messages every day. And when we lived in Pennsylvania, he was on the show, and I've been to a Vanilla Fudge show, and then we met Carmine at NAMM.
Yes,
we met Carmine at NAMM a couple of years ago. Eileen and I did. Which was
the best. I mean, Carmine, the whole crew, that whole crew is amazing. But I've played on different tour dates with them, jumping in for Carmine. But I've been the guy who's jumped in with a ton of different people. But now it's cool to actually have my own little space. But all the people on my tracks, I personally know. They're all friends. They're all really awesome, talented people. But they're also good people. I try to have everyone that has good, positive energy around me wherever I go, and I think it's already helped because you hear it in their takes and their tracks, and you see it in the videos, and it's a lot of positive vibes in a world where stuff is not always that positive. You know what I'm saying? So
I love Manny Cabo. So
I agree with you.
Well, we actually met Manny Cabo because of you, because you had him at the Soho Johnny thing. And
wait a minute, the Soho Johnny thing, didn't we have a problem? the room was rented for such a period of time, and then you weren't going to go on because we were going to get kicked out of the room. Am I right?
No,
Well,
he was more at the beginning.
Yeah, no. Everything was totally cool in the end. Everyone actually, it went perfect and happy. You know, it's great. And Soho Johnny, big shout out to him, because without that, wouldn't have gotten into the whole situation with Jimmy and Eileen and putting on that really big, 9/11 show. And, we were all on the billboards, which is really cool.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Really
yeah. We flew in for that, from California, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
So it was
Johnny calls me his his big brother.
That's right, his big brother. You gotta love it. So who are some of the people that are current nowadays that you listen to? Do you listen to music when you're not playing music?
That's actually a good one, man. A lot of the time I'm analyzing and trying to figure stuff out to put it in my productions. But my favorite current band right now is the band Muse from the UK. They're a big stadium band. They've had a lot of hits. Not as big over here. DJ-wise, Zed, it's David Guetta, Swedish House Mafia, Tiesto.
I met David and Tiesto, back in Florida. They had this thing called the Dance Star USA Awards, and it was basically dancing music, and all the DJs were there. I hung out with Bunny from Rabbit in the Moon. I don't know. There's all these people, and it's so funny. So we walked the red carpet with Carmen Electra, and we had a blast. And then we were leaving, and Bunny was standing on a corner with his award. He won this big award, and he was just standing there. And we rolled down the window and said, "Hey, you need a ride?" And he said yes. So he drove us, and then he introduced us to everybody. He introduced all the different DJs. Not that I really knew who a lot of. The only DJ we know well is Tracy Young, just because I've known her for years, and I did a video.
Oh, great DJ! But yeah, I mean, so basically for me, it's any band or artist that has anthemic arena stadium hits, right? Swedish House Mafia, love Bon Jovi, love anyone who has really big stadium hits is my influence, and I'm trying to bring that back to pop EDM, basically, and good songs with really good vocals and good singers, and have people really connect to it live, and they have been. I've toured. I just got off the road. I think it was 12 countries that I just played, and then it was another 10 in November. And in the fall, I'm back in Zurich, Switzerland, and then I'm going to be running around. And if people don't have tickets to the show and can't see the show or whatever, it's all good. It's the, you can just jump on the live stream, and TikTok Live has been really, really positive and generous to me with the viewers, and they keep pushing me out, I guess, because of the blue check or whatever, verified. But yeah, it's been hitting a lot of people. And the funny part, guys, I think you guys will appreciate this. What'll happen on those lives when I play in, clubs or nightclubs or festivals, they'll do fan fiction on my crowd. So they'll pick out a random person and be like, all right, there's this guy over there on the left. Everyone, okay, the guy's wearing flannel. Okay, he's a little older and I don't know, he's a little awkward. So we're going to call him Flannel Dad. And they go, okay, Flannel Dad, you can get a girl tonight. Come on, Flannel Dad. And then there's hundreds and hundreds of comments cheering Flannel Dad on as I'm going nuts playing. And, after I get the live stream, I download it and I go in, I put the comments that are the funniest up there and I put it up everywhere. It's crazy. I never thought I'd be a live streamer, and just like you guys, I'm sure it's man, you guys have a show. It's streaming everywhere. It's crazy, We
love it. I actually went last night and saw, with Ron's daughters, I went and saw Tears for Fears. And they filled it up 80%, 85% of the, and it was a big arena, and they filled it, and it was amazing. Like when they played Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Sowing the Seeds of Love and stuff, people were just going crazy.
I mean, I have to tell you this story. So when I was a little kid, I loved Shout. It was my favorite song. I used to scream it into the hairbrush and everything. Turns out, I mean, that song, Shout, Tears for Fears, big song. It's one of the BMG remixes that I'm able to actually do. So I went through their whole catalog, and I have 40 tunes that I picked out. That's going to be one of them. So you guys heard it here first. That's going to be another remix.
No, you gotta do that. That will be phenomenal. That was their encore, the last song they played. So they played all their songs and a bunch of stuff off the new album, and then for the encore they played Creep by Radiohead.
Great.
And then they did Shout for the last one, and it was amazing. It was amazing. You know how they always do that? They finish, and then half the people don't stay because they don't think they're coming back out. So like everybody leaves, and then they come back out and play Shout and Radiohead, and it was freaking.
The reason I didn't
awesome.
go is because I only go to Johnny Mathis concerts.
That's not true. It's the first concert that I've paid for tickets in 10 years because I don't ever pay. If we don't go, usually we get invited because
you get the invites and everything, of course. But man, that must have been worth it. That is,
it was totally worth it.
Iconic. I mean,
it was freaking like awesome.
Yeah, so that's going to be another one. And, big shout out to Jimmy again and the whole World Star PR and everything. But, through that and then some other friends that have been helping with PR and everything, the DRMAGDN has gotten on this release because it's a Beatles remix. I'm sure it helped, and a lot of plays and views that helped. But it got into AP News, Yahoo News, New York Daily News, Broadway World, tons of EDM outlets, and then Hollywood Digest. And it's absurd how many places it's gotten. I played in Nashville the other day, and you got me into Nashville Music Guide. And he goes, wait a second, I just saw you in a magazine. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, how's it going, man? Sound guy recognized me on the plane, going back and forth between one of the Midwest states. A girl, maybe like 24 years old, goes, wait a second, I know you. And it's like, oh, yeah, you did like the Beatles remix. It's like, crap. So the press really works. And that's
do you wear your hair up all the time, or do you like let's just say you do wear it up all the time? So you have to
no joke. I go to sleep like this, and this will stay for 3 to 5 days if I do nothing to it. I mean, it's basically, it's glue. It's not Elmer's, but it's like a glue product and everything.
I've been very quiet because nobody cares about me on this segment of our show.
Yeah, right.
But I would like everybody to know I'm in Hollywood Digest naked. Playing drums with an erection. Can you do that?
I mean, I don't know if my drums can handle that kind of pounding. So,
actually, Ron's got a column on the Hollywood Digest. They just asked him to write a column about all Hollywood, so he's getting ready to start writing.
And the reason I haven't written the column yet was I wanted to do the best. I wanted to write about my buddy Jane Russell or my buddy Shelley Winters. I have so many movie stars that I love. I don't know who to select. So I have to somehow be told, write about this one.
I got it. So have you put music in any movies yet?
Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to write about you one day on Hollywood Digest. I'll say, the guy that thinks he knows how to play the drums. What's his name? Dragon somebody?
Dragon. Okay, I got a story about that too. The DRMAGDN thing, when you type it into Google, like at the very beginning, it said, did you mean dragon? And I was like, well, screw that. I made the dragon my logo. So basically, literally under the D in my logo is a dragon. And now, since all the press and being out for a while and having plays and views, now it doesn't say, did you mean dragon anymore? Thank God. Freaking. But yeah, you're right.
And I'll say Drag Queen is good. He's a great drummer.
So wait,
Drag Queen. I love, or Dr. Magden is one of my favorites. So Dr. Magden's about to take the stage. I'm like, that's my evil villain.
You know something? I think I love you. You're a great guy. You have a wonderful disposition, personality. No, seriously, I'm so enjoying you on our show. You know why? You know how to take a joke. You know how to bang it back. That's New York and New Jersey people, not California, where I'm offended by every fucking thing you say. Oh, please. New York it rolls off our back. We know how to throw it back and forth and have fun. Listen, that's why we're moving back to New York. I can't take to California.
Oh, God, yeah. Please come back, man. Jesus.
They all hate me. They think I'm some mean, terrible person because I tell the truth. You're not allowed to tell the truth, in California.
Not anymore. Not anymore. We've got a lot of censorship. It's a box you gotta sit in.
$7 for a gallon of gas.
That's so funny though, because now I can't remember, but I put something on Facebook. I forgot. If I put something funny that you would do the same way as DRMAGDN, it was like whoever saw it as whore members or something, like instead of who remembers, like it's part of my crowd.
Stop.
If I had it, I would be funny. But it's the same way you would do the DRMAGDN thing, though. It would be the same way as like Dr. Magden. Dr. Magden.
Dr. Magden.
Yeah. Cute face. You got a girlfriend?
Well, I mean, I have many people that I hang out with, and I have one girl that I'm really, really into, and she's really into me. I can't say her name because I have to keep everything private and everything, but
yes.
redhead.
A hot piece of ass redhead, right?
I mean, look, when you got it, you got to go find it too, you know?
I miss the humor you have. I miss it so much. See, here, you make me laugh. Here, everybody makes me cry. Really, I love the humor. I miss it.
I mean, come on, New York City, we got the comedy cellar. We've got all the amazing comedians up and coming and everything. I go there all the time. Some of them are buddies. It's like, come on, man. You got to take a joke and you got to be able to dish it out.
You have got to go out with us one night. Eileen?
Oh, Eileen is a fucking kisser. She's great, man.
And Billy Hess.
He knows Billy.
And
Billy is a badass and great photographer.
When we're together, we pee ourselves. We can't breathe. Eileen is a riot. We have so much fun together because they're all New York. Yeah. When I'm out here with the California people, oh man, it's so cool. Like, wow, dude, fucking dude. Everybody's a dude.
That's so funny. When they came here to California, we went to Beverly Hills and we're making videos and taking pictures in the bathroom where George Michael got arrested for trying to pick up the cop, and we're making fun videos and shit from it. It was hilarious.
Eileen is standing near the urinal and I'm next to her. We're cruising each other. I mean, we're crazy people.
You gotta have fun. Life's too short to not have fun.
Eileen Shapiro is a great sport. I always make fun of her boobs because she doesn't have any. She's flat-chested. Yeah. No, really. So I make fun of her boobs all the time. Have fun with her boobs.
So what's first of all? So you're DRMAGDN Emmy. So you're on TikTok at DRMAGDN. You're on. I know your DRMAGDN is Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
Facebook everywhere. Actually, the Facebook thing is pretty funny. The press loved this track. Everyone that I played for generally loved this track. Friends and music people and industry people. I happen to have a thing kind of go viral on Facebook randomly. It hit 86,000 likes or whatever. But that's where the older crew jumped in and started to throw down some hate. The very first hate I got on this remix was on Facebook, where people started to go back and forth. And I had to do witty banter back and forth to kind of diffuse some stuff. My favorite one was a guy just says, blasphemy, awful, this is the worst thing in the world, blasphemy. And I wrote back, well, I guess if it's not your cup of holy water, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Just it's a new remix. Look, Frank Sinatra did it, Elvis did it at one time, and it needs to keep on being heard by the generations. And it's for the younger crew on this one. It's not for the original crew, whatever. So trying to skew lower age for people on this track. So.
You should say George Harrison's ghost came to you and told you to do it, and he loved it.
Oh man, or I have a friend of a friend who knows Ringo really well. I'm gonna see if Ringo will just give me a shout out to be oh, it's a good remix. And then
so one of the very first guests we had on the show was Gary Wright, Dreamweaver Gary Wright.
Oh yeah,
and he had just gotten off of the Ringo Starr All-Star Band tour when we had him on the show. This is 15 years ago, but Ringo Starr is an icon too.
No, so his playing.
We have 3 minutes. Let me tell everybody. So follow DRMAGDN on everything, you guys. What do we have to look forward to? Should we tell you got any shows, specifics on anything you can tell us? What should we tell people to go to find you?
Yeah, so basically go to DRMAGDN, DRMAGDN. It's everywhere, basically. And I actually just got this. This is a really cool limited pressing, and I'm holding this up right here. And it is a limited edition red 7-inch vinyl, okay? Red. And this vinyl is, of course, it's red. This has an unreleased version of something. So something is the radio edit, and then you have the one with the guitar solo on here. And my buddy Oscar Alves Rodriguez he did Say Something from A Great Big World. He's the guy who played all the guitars on the track and everything. And if you check out the back of the album artwork here, that right here, I found Ringo's kit. It was on display at a museum. That's Ringo's kit that he played Ed Sullivan Show, which is really freaking cool. And all the credits and everything are down here. But this is in a limited run, 100 copies, and the first 7 are already out. So we're down to 93 copies left and everything. So hit me up online. Definitely check out the music video on YouTube. Spotify, add it to your playlists, something. But then there's Get Tough. There's Say Less, Be More, a ton of originals.
Don't we?
Yeah.
We're in Sun.
Well, God, finally. Now Ron's happy to see me. Check that out.
I can't do it. I don't have enough hair.
Wait a minute.
You got it too. And if you can't, you grow the beard longer and you just do it down.
Yes.
So I go up and go down, you know?
If I use gel, I could get this up straight.
Drummageddon 1, 2, and 3. So you guys, this is Drummageddon, also known as Charlie Z. Check him out. He's super talented. Follow Drummageddon everywhere. Definitely follow him on TikTok so you can see the live streams. Check out Something, the Beatles remake with Michelle Ray. And just check out all his shit. So follow him on social media. He posts all the time.
Come back again in like 6 months or something.
I'm in, 100%. I'm always around.
Promise me something. When you come back, tell me that you took a couple of drum lessons, okay?
Okay. You know what?
Because you think it's a drummer.
I'd hit a rim shot, but you wouldn't be able to hear it. I told you so.
Oh, the next time you come back, have microphones so we can hear you play.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I'll connect those guys into hearing
Yeah,
it.
I think you're a terrific guy, and I'm serious. We're moving back to New York in spring, so we'll be going out to a lot of things. We're going to ask you to go with Eileen, me,
Billy.
I mean, you're a riot. We'll be pink, and we could be filthy as all hell. We could.
Ron likes that.
We're going to have fun.
That's what's up. And Riot's actually the name of one of my hit singles, so it is a riot. I'm in.
We'll play it.
Look forward to seeing
All right,
you
everybody.
in the Apple.
We're out of time. This is Drummageddon. Thanks so much. Congratulations. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
And guess what? I think you're a great drummer because I heard you in person.
Thank you, man.
All right, Drummageddon. Thanks. We got to go because we're out of time. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Yay.
See you next week.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.